Hello, world. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. You would all be laughing at me right now. I have Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante, warming up in the bullpen, ready to go to talk about, as you can see on the title of today's show, the Billionaire bugout. Tech fascists are fleeing to the bunkers, and we're going to be talking about that with him. But you guys are going to laugh because I just introed my show. I forgot to hit the button that actually went live, and I did a full 8-minute intro to absolutely no one. Jeff is here. He heard it, but you guys didn't. So we had to go back to the drawing board and start all over again. Those are just the perils of self-production. It is great to see all of you. Of course, we are live on Rumble, live on Twitter. We're live on Squirrelly TV, Roku TV, Apple TV. We're live on Substack, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, you can get the Shannon Joy Show at your leisure on every single podcast platform if you prefer to listen to the audio version of the Shannon Joy Show. We so appreciate all of you. Do about 300,000 downloads on the audio every single month, which is super exciting. If you like the Shannon Joy Show, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps with the algorithm and helps this little show to grow. And yes, we've got a big show for you today. I love it when the billionaires get squirrely, right? They get agitated, unpredictable, a little fidgety, a little twitchy. And we have a couple stories for you today. Here's one from the New York Times. Why Peter Thiel, CEO of Palantir, is decamping to the end of the world. The billionaire's new roots in Argentina are said to be partly motivated by his concerns about the future of the United States of America. Unbelievable. We also have a new, it's just hilarious, actually. It's a new program that is tracking the movements of billionaires' private jets. And apparently it's going to show when they're ready to bug out, this new program will alert Americans so that hopefully we can prepare ourselves. What is it that they know that we don't know that is leading to this exodus of the United States of America and the creation of, as we all know, the billionaire bunkers? We're going to be talking about that with Jeff Berwick, who is our guest today. And I'm thrilled to welcome him back. He is one of the most fearless voices in the liberty movement. He's the founder of Dollar Vigilante, the creator of Anarchapulco. He is a free market advocate and a relentless truth teller who has been calling out the coming collapse for over a decade. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. And every single week, his super popular freestyle walk-in talks, which I love, I watch all the time, he's exposing false flags, breaking down the latest forever war psyop, warning about the accelerating financial reset, and reminding us what real freedom looks like, and also showing us how to survive and thrive, even in what are, to a lot of people's perspective, the worst of times. Things have been bad, and things always get bad at certain times in history. We've seen these cycles play out for about 4,000 years of human history. And it seems like we're at the precipice of something, right? Something is going down. So today we're going to discuss the billionaire bugout, the real motives behind endless wars and global power restructuring, why the system is accelerating towards controlled demolition, and how to protect yourself and your wealth, even if the dollar empire crumbles. So we're going to be doing that with Jeff Berwick today. We're also going to talk about the cult, and I can't wait to talk. He did a great walk-in talk just a couple days ago about the cult that is MAGA, the Trump cult. It is breathtaking to consider the fact that this psychological operation, the cult building around Donald Trump, has been persistent for the past 10 years. It's unbelievable how sticky so many of Trump's followers are to him. We're going to talk about how that happens. As you guys know, yesterday, I'm launching my Adopt a Boomer program, where we really need to rip these people out of their cults. I've adopted my dad, and I've been sending him all kinds of information about what's really going on. They are locked into an algorithm. They are in their own insulated ecosystem. They don't see any of the news outside of what Fox News is telling them, what talk radio is telling them, and what MAGA aligned and Trump aligned influencers are feeding to them. It's an endless loop. And I think we have to break them out of it. So we're going to be talking about that with Jeff as well. I just want to say hello to everyone who is with us today. Guitar Lily is with us on the live chat. CJP Rumble, great to see you. Mr. Worthless Eater, Ollie Robin 9, Be My Valentine, Mav 2022. You guys look great on the Rumble live chat. If you're watching right now, please push this out to everyone you know. Give us a like, a thumbs up, a comment, and join those live chats. I'm loving seeing the growth on Substack and YouTube and also on TikTok as well. So why don't we get to this? Oh, Jim VT 1959. You're so nice. Shannon just keeps getting lovelier and lovelier. Well, I so appreciate you. I'll take that compliment every single day. It's not easy aging on national television or podcasting, right? I'm going to hit 50 in just a year and a half, which is crazy. But I really appreciate you. Green Tea 369. Great to see you. They are building a cage. They don't want to live inside of it. Great comment from Green Tea. And Mod Trend. Shannon, your dad needs to watch the Shannon Joy Show. He loved my show during COVID and during the Biden administration when I was calling out Biden for corruption, lockdowns, profligate spending, corruption with his son, never-ending wars, like all of the same things that I was criticizing Biden and the Democrats about 4 years ago, I'm criticizing Trump and the Republicans about right now. Only Trump and his family and the Republicans are accelerating the fascist technocratic police state in a way that would make Joe Biden blush, right? So I haven't changed at all. And my dad loved the show then, but he had to turn me off when I started to go after his idol, Donald Trump. I love him anyway, and I want to help him see the truth, and we're going to see what Jeff Berwick has to say about that. Also, we're going to be talking about Canada's assisted suicide program. It's out of control. I've linked you to that in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show, and Jeff has some things to say about it. Unbelievable. They've legalized assisted suicide, and latest reports are just crazy. Like a guy met with a therapist at a Starbucks, got a diagnosis, was referred for assisted suicide, and was dead like 6 hours later. I'm exaggerating a little bit. I don't remember the exact details of the story, but I mean, that's essentially what's happening in Canada. They're just offing people. It's like a legalized government killing program in Canada. And we know, that's the brass rings. This is really what governments and the technocrats and the billionaires want the power to do, because they have God complexes and they want to give life and also take it away, along with owning everything and us having nothing, right? So they're just salivating at the prospect of being able to cull entire populations of humans. We're seeing it with animal populations as they roll out one fake pandemic after another. And Jeff is also going to be talking about that as well. We have Ebola, we have the ticks, we have the hantavirus, like anything they can do to keep this fear porn pandemic system going, they're going to try to do. And again, what is the ultimate goal? The culling of, in my opinion, they want to be able to take us out if they can do it. Ollie Robin 9, glad I'm not in Canada. Well, what goes on in Canada eventually comes to here. So we're going to go, without further ado, we're going to bring my guest in. Poor Jeff Berwick has been waiting. He waited through a full 8-minute intro to no one, and then had to wait through a second round of my introduction to all of you. He's been super patient. He's in an undisclosed location. He's got the cattle hat on, the rancher hat on, and he's ready to go. One of my favorites out there, Jeff Berwick. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Shannon. And I meditate hours a day. I just got out of my plasma bath. So
feel good.
I might have been like, oh, what's going on? This Shannon, she's wasting my time. And now I'm just sitting here enjoying it all. I'm enjoying this entire apocalypse.
It's great. I mean, listen, if you don't laugh, you'd stick your head in the oven. Like, it's coming down. It's going to happen. It's, from my perspective, never as bad as we think it's going to be, but it's not going to be good. And you really have had your finger on the pulse of what's really going on for a very long time. So I am super thrilled to have you in the Joy Virtual Studio for about an hour to talk about what's going on. Let's start with the Billionaire bug out. I have a bunch of videos for you today, fun videos for you that I want to go through. And this was hilarious. There is now a program that is tracking billionaires, their private jets, and when they're moving or on the move. And this is making its round on social media. I want to play it for you and get your thoughts on this. And also, obviously, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, all of the billionaires, they're building their bunkers. There have been a lot of reports on that, like what's really going on. But let's take a look at this and try to figure out what's going on with these billionaires. Here we go.
If the world's richest billionaires suddenly try to flee the country all at once, an elite tracking system will now trigger an apocalypse alarm. An American programmer has officially launched the Apocalypse Early Warning System. The concept is simple. It monitors the exact flight data of over 11,000 private jets owned by the world's elite. The system filters out normal air traffic to isolate the specific transponders of tech moguls and politicians. If the tracker detects a sudden, massive swarm of billionaire jets all taking off at the exact same time, the alarm jumps to level 5, which is called duck and cover. We already know elites are obsessed with apocalypse insurance. Mark Zuckerberg has a fortified compound with a massive underground bunker in Hawaii, and OpenAI executives have literally admitted they plan to build bunkers before unleashing advanced AI. Unsurprisingly, billionaires are biting back. Elon Musk famously banned flight trackers on X, and the US Congress is currently reviewing a privacy act to hide private jet broadcast data from the public. If the billionaires lose their privacy, we get a front row seat to their escape route. If the alarm goes off, where are you heading?
All right, hat tip to AU News. It's an Australian outlet, and that was one of their reporters. Jeff Berwick, what is up with the billionaires? Why are they bugging out? Like, what's going on? What do they know that we don't know? What are your thoughts on all of these developments?
Well, good question. I have actually been wondering that myself. I've seen them, most of them have actually built underground bunkers now. And of course, the Donald Trump, that was his actual name, by the way, Trump, D-R-U-M-P-F. He changed it. Most of them do. J.D. Vance, that's not his real name either. Benjamin Netanyahu, his real name. Yeah.
Wait. Donald Trump's real name was Drumpf?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. They changed it when they came to the U.S. Most of them do. Benjamin Milkowski, of course. Benjamin Netanyahu, his name's Milikowski. He's actually related to Javier Milei, who's in Argentina. They're all Zionists. They're all pushing forward this agenda.
Wow.
But yeah, I've always wondered this myself about why are they building all these bunkers? And I'm on a ranch with a blue roof, just so you know, for the energy weapons.
Okay.
I have solar panels. I grow all my own food. I have my own water supply. So I'm getting ready as well because there's definitely going to be some interesting times ahead. And it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people. And so I definitely suggest people get prepared. But I've always seen them doing their bunkers. Mark Zuckerberg, who's also a Rothschild, by the way. All these people are not who you think they are. They're all part of a satanic pedivore cult that actually wants to destroy, enslave, and kill everyone on Earth. And that's becoming quite clear now. But I always wondered why they have these bunkers. And I haven't built my own bunker. And the reason why is that if things get so bad that I have to be underground for years, I just don't care. I'm just going to stay up here and see what happens. Right. I'm not in this to just stay alive in a bunker underground. But these people are very, very tied into this matrix and very materialistic, and they want to keep all their stuff. They want to keep their life. They want to keep their wealth. And, they're all, none of these people are connected to source at all. They're actually connected to the other source. So I haven't actually done that myself, although I do wonder, there's all kinds of speculation about it. Some people say, they're going to set off a massive nuclear war and it's going to radiate the entire world and you'll only live if you're underground and stuff like that. And again, if that's the case, I'll just die. But I actually don't think nuclear bombs exist. There's actually no evidence they exist. What happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, just look at those cities today. If you listen to their propaganda, they'll tell you can't live there for like 50,000 years afterwards. The radiation's so bad. Well, that's clearly not the case. Also, the same thing with Fukushima, which is about 100 miles from Tokyo. Everyone there's fine. So the entire radiation nuclear thing, there was scientists and people like almost 100 years ago who would eat radioactive plutonium on stage because it's not like super dangerous.
Wow,
there's actually
I've never heard that one before, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
well, listen,
so I'm not concerned about the
deal.
nuclear.
Yeah, like here's the thing, and I went through this with my audience during COVID, right? And I call it the Shannon Joy Doctrine-ish. Like, listen, if it's the end of the world, zombie apocalypse, alien invasion, nuclear war, worldwide deadly pandemic, nuclear fallout, like any of the things, right? You're going to know it when it happens, right? You don't need the propaganda to convince you that it's happening or the psyop to convince you that, these super scary things are going to happen. Like, you're going to see it. You're going to be able to look out your window or walk out of your front door and actually see it. And, I had to test, and I think everyone went through this during the COVID lockdowns of 2020. You had to test what you saw in the real world, right? What was actually happening in reality against what we were being told on the screens, right? I lived in New York. New York was the epicenter of the worldwide deadly pandemic. This is where supposedly everyone was dropping dead. We were, thousands of people were dying. The emergency rooms were overwhelmed. The doctors were exhausted. We were all locked down for like a year and a half, 2 years. It took me 6 months to find a friend that had COVID. It took me another 6 months to find a friend who knew someone who had tragically perished from COVID, right? The emergency rooms were never open. I had people in 7 different emergency rooms and urgent cares that I was talking to from day one throughout the first year of the pandemic, and they were empty. Nothing was happening, right? So we're in a strange time, Jeff, where the apocalypse is coming, but we really don't know what the apocalypse is going to be. Are they going to try to convince us that it's something worse than it is? I know there are a lot of people who are very concerned about oil, energy, and food shortages coming up. I wanted to talk to you about that. I tend to think, and so, with that respect, Jeff, I just don't worry about it. I do the best I can. I prepare as much as I can financially with, generators and as much, independent energy as I can, with as much food as I can. We have a place we can go. But otherwise, I just don't worry about it because why would you, right?
Yeah, that's very good. Never worry about anything. Whenever you have worry or fear, you actually create that in your own reality because we actually create our own reality with our own minds.
Totally.
So yeah, you're in a good spot, not worrying about it. Now, what happens though in this matrix that we're currently in? It's going to be very interesting. It's definitely not going to be easy for a lot of people, but it's actually the best thing that could ever happen because basically what's been built up around us is a complete panopticon of propaganda, surveillance. Every single institution is a weapon against us. And that includes the government indoctrination camps that they call 12 years of schools, that they put the kids into prison for 12 years. If they can't sit there in their seat, which kids should be running around, obviously. If they can't sit still, they'll give them meth, which they call, I forget what they call it, but Adderall and all these sort of things. It's basically meth. Yeah. And television programming and, even the financial system, that's all a scam. It's all in my book, The Controlled Demolition of the American Empire. It's what I talk about at the Dollar Vigilante. It's a system that basically sucks your energy because money, currency is called currency for a reason. It's not actual current. It's actually your energy that you can give and receive. It's actually quite a beautiful thing, but it's been co-opted and stolen by the Rothschilds with their central banking system, which is a tenet of communism. And so all of these things that have been, and look at even the Hollywood, all the movies, all the television programming, that's all mind control. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, Shannon, this is an incredible documentary by Jason Christoff, who spoke at Anarchapulco this year. It's at planetmindcontrol.com. It's totally free. Just have to put it in your email and you can watch it instantly. It's about an hour long. I highly recommend it because pretty much everyone watching this right now, and even ourselves to some extent, me a little less, I've been working on it for about 10 years, trying to get out all the programming and the propaganda and the mind control. But if you go and watch that show, you will start to realize that you've been basically under mind control. Most people have their entire lives. Most things that we do is actually programmed into us by this very system that
Yeah.
enslaves us. So it's actually super awesome that this is all falling apart now. But you're going, if you want to get through it, you're going to have to be really smart. And the number one thing is to really do the self work, really be connected, be with source, be with God, be connected, be in nature. Obviously, all the other things. Make sure you're prepped. Make sure you have your own food supply. Make sure you have your own water supply. I wouldn't live in major cities.
Right.
Definitely over the next few years. And you see people like Peter Thiel now just actually leaving, which is quite interesting. And I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, because this is all actually an agenda. Even what's happening in Iran is an agenda to cut off most of the world's oil supply. And that's, if you've been listening to the World Economic Forum for the last decade, all they've been talking about is we have to get people to stop driving gas cars, got to get them into electric vehicles, which they can program and track. We have to stop them from eating meat, all these sort of things. And we have to depopulate the earth. Actually, so many of them have talked about that. George Soros talks about it. The guy who founded CNN, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He just died just a couple days ago, I think, which is a great sign, actually. A lot of them are dying. They can't actually stay here much longer. They're actually losing massively. But they are going forward with a lot of these agendas. It's already baked in the cake with the amount of fertilizer that's been taken offline, the amount of oil and energy that's been taken offline, and that's not coming back anytime soon. It's still not back right now. We're now 3 months into this. No oil coming out of the Middle East. Russia isn't exporting oil because most of its oil facilities have been blown up by what they call Ukrainian drones.
Remember when that happened during COVID? That was like a year after COVID that they blew up the pipelines in Russia. So this is a controlled, and we've been saying for quite some time, Jeff, on this show, that these are controlled demolitions, that, this is, what are you pointing at?
Controlled Demolition of the American Empire. That's my book. Yeah. It was actually a best-selling book in the first few days, and then they did their usual censoring stuff.
That's what they do. Here's the thing, Jeff. COVID-19 was very informative and very enlightening. We really got a peek at their playbook with COVID, right? Because to your point, a lot of people are going to suffer. During COVID, it was fake. It was a scamdemic. It wasn't real. The deaths weren't real. The virus wasn't real. It wasn't killing people. It was a completely manufactured event that gave them the opportunity to consolidate power and crush human liberty. That's what they want. That's what these are always about. But people really did suffer. People suffered from anxiety, depression, isolation. They were killed in nursing homes. They were killed on COVID floors by the COVID kill protocols and remdesivir and the ventilators. And then ultimately the mass culling, which was the deployment of the countermeasure, a military countermeasure, which was the COVID shot, which was injected into hundreds of millions of people here in the US without their full consent and knowledge of what it was. Many were coerced and many were forced into accepting those shots. So tens of thousands, if not millions of people were killed. They died during COVID. It was a democide. It was a government culling and killing of their own population. And so there are casualties. I don't mean to dismiss when I say, we don't worry about it and it's never as bad as we think it's going to be. Like it's bad for the people who aren't awake. The people who are awake, and it ultimately comes down to a choice. When you think about it at the end of the day, it was the people who were prepared spiritually, intellectually, financially, who were able to not take the shot, stand up and speak out and bring as many people along with them. That's where the preparation comes in. But I think we have to be ready for that type of scenario to happen again, and perhaps accelerated and maybe a little bit worse. That doesn't mean anyone watching right now, if you're watching this and you're awake and you understand these concepts, you're already ahead of the game and in a position to not only survive what is coming, but then as we move through it, Jeff, be able to thrive. Does that make sense to you? Like, do you share that thought? Like, that's really how I feel about what's going on, because we really don't know how they're going to do this and how they're going to roll it out, but we know it's coming. Everyone senses it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually all a 3D video game that we created for ourselves, and a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know that or don't remember that. That's why I say you need to do the self work and really connect with yourself to really remember who you really are. And you
Right.
mentioned that a lot of the people that are not making it through, and it's going to get way worse, will were not able to wake up, and they actually got just controlled by the matrix, by the system, and they
Right.
couldn't make it through. So they lined up for their shots and stuff like that.
So sad.
And
Tragic.
uh, yeah, it is, but it is all just a 3D video game, and it's you'll find out at the end that it's all fine, and it's all actually kind of funny at the end. But in the meantime, though, like it is interesting to be in it and
I
actually
love
be
it.
awake for it and actually
Right.
aware of what's going on. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to actually get far worse. Just so everyone knows, that's what my book's about. That's what I talk about at the Dollar Vigilante all the time. That's our financial newsletter, by the way, which I
Mhm.
recommended Bitcoin at $3 in 2011, just to give you an idea. So, um, the we're trying to help people to wake up to what's going on before it's too late inside this 3D video game. And it is going to get unbelievably, like I've been talking at the Dollar Vigilante, everything's going to collapse. The financial system's going to collapse. We're on the verge right now. This bubble that we're going through right now will basically be the last bubble before everything collapses, banks,
Mm,
everything. And so that's why I say that this is actually a super good thing, because all those things have been very bad for humanity in
that's
general,
right. Yeah.
and for people to get back and remember who they are and get back to natural systems and get away from all these things and get out of the mind control which they're constantly putting out via Hollywood and the television programming and the algorithms now. And but
Mhm.
Satan Klaus, I call him Klaus Schwab. I call him Satan Klaus. Um, he uh, said right during the COVIDs, because he actually wrote a book about the COVIDs just like 2 weeks after it started, because they already
Mhm.
knew it was him and Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein, actually, and many other people who were planning for this
Yep.
years before they had their event 201 in November of 2019. They planned for it, and then a few months
Mhm.
later it came out. And then all of a sudden he had a book, and it was called The Great Reset, and how to handle this COVID-19 sort of a
Yeah.
thing. And I call it COVIDs, by the way, because it's very similar. And that's how I knew immediately it was a operation. It's even the AIDS, the HIV AIDS. Of course, they got their movie with Tom Hanks and Philadelphia and all this stuff. And
Of
there
course
is
they
no
do.
HIV AIDS.
Yeah.
This has been disproven. There is no COVID, which I call COVID. There actually is none.
Mhm.
It's completely made up. But what's coming next is actually going to be quite real. And they're actually now they've got people injected with nanotech, with the lethal injections that people call vaccines, and they're going to be controlling people via the 5G and the 6G. But Satan Klaus actually said during the COVIDs that the next one will be so much worse than the COVIDs that it will make the COVIDs look like a minor disturbance, as he said.
Mhm.
And that's what's coming next. And actually, Ashley St. Clair, who's one of Elon Musk's five Jewish, none of them are Jewish, they're actually from a Khazarian cult. Uh, he impregnated via in vitro fertilization, because I don't think he can have sex. He's not human, and his body is all
What?
weird.
Okay, Jeff, you're going a little bit you're
Sorry, it
like,
might be too
just
much
so all you
information
know,
all at once.
Jeff is great. I don't like, and he's gonna say a lot of things. I don't agree with all of them or don't know enough about all of them to agree or disagree. But so Elon Musk is an alien. He's not
Well, he
human,
said
or
that
he's
numerous times. He said that
um,
numerous times.
well, but he
Um,
said it. I think he's crazy. I think he's experimented on himself for the past 20 years and he's obsessed with living forever, because that's what these guys do. Like,
yeah.
they get so rich and so powerful. They get tired of the hookers and the yachts and all the things that normal millionaires enjoy. And then they get into this like really sick like mind virus that is like a god complex, and they become obsessed with becoming gods themselves. So that's why they want the surveillance, that's why they want to call. And I think he might have inserted one of his brain chips in his own brain, and he doesn't look healthy. I will give you that. Like, Peter Thiel looks like Skeletor from He-Man, and Elon Musk does not look human. I think he is, but I think he's just genetically modified himself and injected himself with so many crazy things that maybe he looks like an alien. But I mean, I agree with you on their agenda. Like, what it actually is, there's all kinds of speculation. about who these people are. I don't even really care about that. I just care about what they're doing, whether they're aliens, human, whatever, part of a cult or a satanic cult. I'm fine. I don't care. I just know what is right in front of my face and what we need to oppose and what we need to do. And that's kind of, so that's why I don't really go into that stuff, Jeff, but I appreciate that you do. I mean, a lot of people are interested in it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I know this for sure or anything. I'm just saying that he has said that numerous times.
He's
But
not
what I
human.
will say is that getting back to one of his 5 Jewish brides, Ashley St. Clair, who he hasn't been paying child support for, so she's actually been coming out and dropping some interesting information lately. And the most recent one, she said that Elon told her, I think this was like a year or two ago, that he's got 10,000 lasers in space, which I've always said that the Starlink and all these things, these are actually to control, surveil, and even kill. They're kill systems, same as the 5G and the 6G. And he told Ashley St. Clair, and this is what she said, that he's going to release his anomaly soon with his space lasers. And what I think that is going to be is actually with the space lasers. I know it sounds crazy to put this all the movies too, right? Like that.
Well, that's the
Dr.
thing.
Evil,
Like
right?
Elon and his lasers. I think Elon is a silver spoon, technocratic, like daddy's boy who doesn't talk to his daddy anymore, who has like these really big, I think he's delusional. I mean, maybe he has space lasers, but again, to your point, if he does have space lasers, who cares? It's going to get us anyway, so I won't know it. I mean, but
I've got a blue roof for that reason. And
yeah.
But what I think they're actually going to do is they've got a lot of people injected with nanotech and graphene now, and they're going to actually set off a new pandemic. This is what I'm calling pandemic 2.0, and it's not the hantavirus. That was obviously a joke. Hanta in Hebrew means lie, fraud, or BS. They don't even hide it. But I think they're going to set off
us. Like a cat with a mouse. They play with us. Right?
Oh yeah, no, they totally
all
are.
of the satanic references, Lucifer, whatever, the 666, all the like hand signals and all the things. I think that they just like to mess with us, and it's just
totally. They're having a lot of fun. Like they're the bad guys in this video game, and they're trying to basically destroy all the other characters in the video game. And but they're going to probably set off those Starlink 5G and 6G with the graphene and the nanotech, and they're going to control a lot of people via the nanotech. This is all quite proven now, by the way. If you look into it, there's many people who've looked into this quite deeply. Dr. Anna Mahalcha and people like that. They're either going to be controlling a lot of people with the 5G and the Starlink via the nanotech that's already in their blood. So that's what, when they have those zombie movies, I think that's what it is. It's those people are going to be controlled completely. Most of those people, by the way, are already almost completely controlled, but via the mind control. But now they're going to be actually, and that's, I think, part of the reason for these AI data centers. They're going to actually be controlling every single person on Earth, watching every single thing they do and controlling it via the AI, which is pretty crazy.
Maybe. I mean,
I'm not saying for sure. I'm just saying that everything I'm seeing them do, that looks like what they're doing next. And by the way, I've called all these things. I've called pretty much every single thing for decades.
I know.
I'm not saying it to scare people. Actually, there's so many ways that you can actually avoid it all. I know all the ways. I talk about it in my walk and talks, including plasma from Nikola Tesla, which is back now. That Donald Trump's uncle in the CIA tried to take away from people. It will declot your blood and actually de-age you. And so there's lots of ways to get out of it, but you have to have eyes to see and ears to hear. And if you don't, you're probably most people will end up dead. And this isn't anything that should surprise people. We saw that with the COVIDs. If there was anything with the COVIDs that was awesome, it woke a lot of people up, because I've been talking about this stuff for a while, and they're like, no, they're not trying to kill everyone, Jeff. And I'm like, yes, they are. And then they just did it, right? You mentioned you went to a hospital in New York. I know quite a bit about what happened with that one, by the way. They set off some 5G sort of radiation. A bunch of people got kind of sick, went to the hospital. They put them all on ventilators and killed them. And actually,
that was real. That's one of the,
They also said that the ovens never stopped burning in the crematoriums. And I went to the crematorium in Mexico City, and it was empty. The guy was sleeping. So I exposed all that here. And this is the stuff I've been saying in the past. When I'm saying these things, and I'm not saying like you have to believe me or anything like that. Actually, I don't even care. Like, I
Right.
don't. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, that's what I think is coming probably next.
Yeah.
And so when it happens, though, it's kind of interesting. If you know this is going to happen beforehand, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're walking wherever you are in your town, and all of a sudden one guy drops, another guy drops. You know, just like they said with the COVIDs, people were just dropping in the street. Remember that? The guy in China, he just fell over, and they said,
Oh,
"Oh my."
yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was all propaganda films because
Right.
China's in on it too. There's no China, Russia, US. They're all controlled by the same people.
I think
And
so too.
sort
Yeah.
of human tax form is basically what the earth is right now. But I think what you'll see is you'll start to see some people in certain areas are going to hit it with the 5G, the Starlink, all these sort of things. And people will start dropping, especially if they got the nanotech and the graphene in their blood. So the reason I'm kind of saying these things is if that starts to happen, try to remember, this is why you need to be doing the self work every day, because so you don't go into a fear mode as the next stage happens, so that you
Mm.
can remain present and you can remember, oh, I've heard this was what they're going to do, because otherwise you'll panic. And when you
Mhm.
panic, you go into fear mode. When you go into fear mode, you basically end up killing yourself for the
Totally.
most part. You'll do
Yeah.
anything. That's what the vaccines were all about. They got people into a fear mode and said, they got the guy on the TV and he's eating his French fries. He's like, well, this is delicious French fries. You can get free French fries if you inject yourself with this poison. And because people were in a fear mode,
That was the
they
mayor
went
of New
and
York,
lined.
and that was the most disgusting video I've ever seen. I played it on my show. He's like stuffing a cheeseburger in his mouth and like drinking a milkshake and then stuffing French fries in his mouth and like moaning about how good it was. And oh, get your free COVID shot and then we'll give you a free burger. We crashed a free beer for COVID shot event in our community and like live streamed it. It went kind of viral. It was disgusting what they did. And you know, people have a lot of theories about what is actually going on. And the type of gal, like I want to hear all the different theories. I don't know what is coming. I don't know how sophisticated the technology is. I don't know if the technology is really there or they just say it's there to scare us and frighten us. In the same way that you mentioned the nuclear bomb, right? Like say for example, the nukes are not as bad as we thought they were. And they just said that they amped it up to frighten people and to, I mean, think about how well that worked. I mean, we've had endless wars for the past, 70 years because everyone's so afraid of the nukes. So, this is the very tricky balance between like, what technology do they actually have? How can it actually kill you? Will it really kill you? Or is all of that too? I mean, listen, lasers from the sky that Elon Musk is controlling that can like take you out or take out whole communities, like that's pretty scary. And a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, please, let's, erect some government system to save us from Elon, whatever. Like it's always the play that they make. And I think your overall thesis is absolutely spot on. And that is no matter what they throw at us, we do not fear ever. Why? Because we're all going to die someday anyway, right? You could walk out the front door and get hit by a bus, and that's your apocalypse. That's your own personal little apocalypse, and you're out, right? You can get a deadly diagnosis. There's so many ways that we're all going to die. So if we spend our entire life being afraid of dying, well, then we're not really living now, are we? And that's what I love about you. And that's what I love about your walk and talks and everything that you do. Because regardless of what the actual catastrophe is and how bad it's going to be, none of us can really know, right?
No, I don't even know, but I've been doing this I've been doing this for about 30 years, really.
Yeah.
And I can
Well,
see all the signs, and there's going to be massive events in the next couple of years that no one will believe. And
yeah.
I also noticed that you mentioned you could get a deadly diagnosis. That was interesting you said that, because that's actually all part of their Rockefeller medicine magic that they do.
I
You'll notice
agree.
a lot of people go to these guys in white butcher coats who are practicing in their medical practice, and they'll just like run them through some tests, just like the COVID's test. Oh, you've got the COVID's. There was a number on a screen from
Right.
a PCR test, which isn't a test, and that can find anything and anyone. But that's what they do as well for anyone out there, because there's so many people are sick now because they're poisoning people in so many different ways. It's not just
They
the
are.
fluoride, it's not just the chemtrails with the aluminum and barium.
Yes.
It's the seed oils. They're putting vaccines in a lot of the food now. Most of the food has like no actual nutritional value anymore.
Crazy.
They're poisoning people, so a lot of people are getting sick, and so they should be aware that if you go to a doctor, and you really shouldn't, you should actually be taking your health back in your own hands.
Mm.
But if you do, they might give you a diagnosis.
I have
And
a
what happens
story.
as soon as they tell someone you're going to die in 2 months, you know what that actually happens? You know the fear that that person goes into because they're not necessarily like us who are like not concerned about these things.
Right.
Because any doctor could go, Jeff, you're going to die tomorrow. I'd go, oh, thanks. All right, see ya. Like I don't care
Bye.
what you have to say. But
Bye.
what they do when they tell you you've got 3 months to live, you're going to die.
Yeah.
You almost always will die because that's actually mind control, and your mind is that powerful. It can actually make you sick. Your
Yeah.
mind also can make it so you're not sick, and that's why I say do the work. I meditate hours a day. I was meditating in a plasma bath today with my Tesla machine. The Tesla machine in itself cures everything. Most people don't even know about it.
That's
So a
interesting.
lot of this is taking everything back into your own hands, having no fear, being aware of what's going on. So that's why I'm mentioning these things, because as they happen, it might help some people to understand and to not fall into the fear when it happens.
Hmm.
But just disconnect from all of their systems. Stop using their currency. I don't know if people have noticed. Most people don't notice because they're under mind control. On the back of a $1 bill is a pyramid with an all-seeing eye, and it says New World Order on
It's
it.
crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
all there to control you. Stop using that. When you use it, you actually give them power. This is
Mm,
actually one of the biggest reasons they have power is everyone uses their currency, which is energy. And we have so many other options. Of course, there's gold and silver, which we've been in since the start of the Dollar Vigilante. We've made
love it.
hundreds of percent on those, done very well in the last year. There's
Absolutely.
also cryptocurrencies like Monero, which is a private cryptocurrency.
Love
You can
that.
do things like that. I actually do almost everything with cryptocurrency now. They've closed all my bank
Interesting.
accounts because I'm
Yeah.
all these things I've said here is so dangerous to people, apparently, that are to
Mm,
them. That's why they're all fleeing right now. We're actually winning big time.
yeah.
This is
I
awesome.
love
But
it.
they're going to
I
take a
love it.
lot of people out with them as they go. But they've actually
Crazy
shut down
times.
all my bank accounts and stuff like that, which, it's been awesome because it's forced me to actually have to use cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, so, which is outside. It's
Mhm.
a one step at least outside of their control, and it also doesn't send them energy. And then, of course, there's another big way that they have a lot of power, and that is most people give them half of their money. That's called taxes, and that's actually an illusion
Ooh.
too, and it's actually completely fake. You only have to actually sign a few pieces of paper and send it in, and you don't have to do it anymore. You never had to do it. It's all a scam. It's all a fraud. But a lot of
I want
people
to talk
don't.
about that. I want to slow you down. I want to slow you down because
Let's breathe.
like you're blowing my mind right now on a lot of things. And I think and that's why I like to have you on because you do expand the horizons of thought and of consideration. I like that, right? But I don't want to give like too much. One of the things I'm very interested in a tax revolt. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was out just a couple weeks ago, really seriously talking about what does a tax revolt look like. And this is why I'm so obsessed, Jeff, with localism and organization. Because when you get out of the screen and out of the house and onto the streets and in your community and face to face with other humans in an organizational effort, and then use technology to help you organize across the country, these local organizations, you can really gather up a large group of people, and there's strength in numbers, right? When one person embarks on a tax revolt, they can pick them off very easily. But if you had, a very small percentage, say 3 to 5% of the American population organized together for a full-scale tax revolt, well, that would be a major signal. If 3 to 5% of Americans stop using dollars, maybe they use gold and silver as legal tender or cryptocurrencies that they trust, or barter. You can go out and barter with your neighbor, which is awesome. I've done a good amount of barter in my life and, with my business. So that's always an option, going to, making sure you keep all your energy, the currency that you use local, I think is a huge deal. And so I want to talk to you about what that looks like. We do have to go to break. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. I want to encourage all of you to check out our advertisers. We have 4 advertisers here on the Shannon Joy Show, and we keep it very lean. I choose my advertising partners. I've begun to do that because I just want to bring you guys the best of everything. And so when you see an ad for Schiff Gold and Peter Schiff, if you want to help the Shannon Joy Show, make sure that you patronize that company. Also the wellness company, of course, PCM and Associates, and for preparation, the satellite phone store. That's sat123.com/joy, sat123.com/joy. These are the companies that keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. And so your job, if you like the show and you enjoy watching every day and listening, you can help us out. I'm working on a couple new advertisers as well. I am obsessed. I'm working with a tallow company, an independent tallow company out of North Idaho. Soaps, scrubs, balms, unbelievable. I've been using them and I cannot wait to introduce you guys to this product and a couple others as well. So I'm always on the lookout for really great companies that are independent and run by people who get it, who understand the times that we are living in and support the values that I support and you guys support as well. So with that being said, we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion with Jeff Berwick. He is the Dollar Vigilante. Make sure that you follow him on all of his platforms. We'll give you that information when we come back. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Shannon Joy Show. It's at 123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation: generators, solar panels, Faraday products. If you want to disappear, it's at 123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation: generators, solar panels, Faraday products. If you want to disappear and protect yourself from the surveillance state, they have an entire line of amazing Faraday products called dark bags. They're always 10% off at the satellite phone store if you go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. The satellite phone store has supported the Shannon Joy Show for many years. They are amazing partners, and let's help the companies that help keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. So if you are in the market for any of their products or services, make sure you use that promo code JOY and go to sat123.com/joy. That's sat123.com/joy. Hey everyone, I just want to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Dom Polano over at PCM and Associates. Dom Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Dom Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Dom Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Dom Polano over at PCM Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Dom Polano at PCM and Associates, and I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Before we get back to Jeff Berwick, he is the Dollar Vigilante. I want to remind you, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink just recently admitted on camera, we talked about this yesterday, trillions for AI data centers and power grids are going to be ripped straight out of Americans' savings, pensions, and retirement accounts. He actually said that you need to think about growing with the United States in terms of really rating your pension accounts. So, this is a really big deal. Your 401k, your retirement, your pension, it's in the crosshairs of these techno-fascists who, as we were just talking about, are dead set on crushing and crashing this economy. So it's time, in my opinion, to get my hard-earned money out of their rigged system and into real physical gold. So as you know, gold has survived every currency collapse, every government heist, every Wall Street meltdown in history, and it's the only asset that they can't print, they can't dilute, and they cannot Steel, my most trusted source for physical gold and silver, also gold and silver backed IRAs and tokenized gold, is Peter Schiff. He's been right for decades. He's the only guy that I trust with my family's future, and he's a valuable sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show. So you can protect what you built by learning about gold and silver and putting a strategy together. Go to schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy to learn more. Make sure that you use my URL so that Peter knows I sent you. That's schiffgold.com/joy. All right, back to Jeff Berwick. We are talking about what is coming. And one of the things that gives me a lot of hope, Jeff, is the pushback, local organization. People are waking up. To your point in the last segment, I think that since COVID, the amount of people waking up has rapidly accelerated, and that's a great thing. And as the bad guys reveal themselves, like they just did, like Larry Fink just did with BlackRock. I mean, he's not even trying to hide it. We're coming for your pensions. You're going to fund the data centers that we're going to put in your backyard that are going to be used to completely crush your liberty and surveil you and track you and trace you. And there's nothing you can do about it, right? Like that's how brazen they are right now. And this is forcing people to wake up quickly. I have a video for you that I want to play for you because this made my day. This is what I live for. This is what I wake up for every day. It's why I do the Shannon Joy Show every day. For moments like this one in the Andover Township in Virginia. Take a look at this. All right, what is that? All right, what was that? That was the citizens of Andover. They celebrated in a packed hall in the Andover Township as their committee just repealed the big tech data center giveaway and passed a full ban on data centers in their township. It's not just Andover. Just yesterday in La Pine, Oregon, citizens just south of Bend kicked their planned data center down the road. This was a unanimous vote from La Pine City Council against moving forward with a proposed 20 megawatt data center on Reed Road just hours after public comment. Now, this is exactly what we need. And just so that you guys know, Andover Township, it had been a very, very contentious debate. In fact, citizens were arrested for speaking out at these committee meetings in Andover, but they didn't give up. They kept organizing and they were able to push back and push out this data center. It's a huge victory. And I want to see this replicated all over the United States of America. But Jeff, what are your thoughts on that? Local bottom-up organization, people finding each other and pushing back, because this is a huge victory and we need to celebrate these types of victories because it gives people hope.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great when people take action to protect themselves from what's going on. What's basically going on is using, as you mentioned, BlackRock, Larry Fink, who's Jewish, by the way, Kazarian. From a satanic pedivore cult that want to destroy, enslave, and kill everyone on Earth. He talks about how they're going to take everyone's funds to fund all these things that will actually enslave them and even control them even more. So it's always good when people wake up to what's happening and try to stop it in whatever way they can. A big way of doing that is just not to participate in any of their things. And again, stop using their currency, stop giving them all your money.
Right.
Get off those phones for the most part. Those are a big reason they're tracking everyone, because everyone's got basically a CIA tracking device in their pocket.
Right.
It's incredible how well they've done it. People actually have a CIA in their house and they ask it for like pancake recipes and stuff now. It's called the Amazon, whatever that thing is. I don't even know because I don't Yeah, those, the little Amazon, what do they call those things?
It's like, yes, I know what it is. It's the whole house system where you're hooked up to the internet. Yeah, so you can ask for recipes, Alexa.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't even know because I would never ever have that in my house.
Me
Your
neither.
smart TV's watching you. Everything's watching you. So anything that says smart on it, throw it in the garbage or actually sell it so you don't lose your value. Unfortunately,
Right.
you should kind of warn for karma reasons that whoever you're selling it to, they're going to be even more tracked and more enslaved. But they won't probably get it. They're probably already in the system and in the matrix too deep to get it. But you can just step away from all those things. That's why I'm saying when all this stuff goes away, and I think it will in the next couple of years. Actually, I have a number of reasons I believe that's going to happen. But when people start to wake up to this stuff, start walking away, stop giving them their money, stop using their currency. And I know a lot of people will say, well, I need to use their currency because my employer pays me in that or whatever. Well, if you just talk to people now, I know a big corporation isn't going to start paying you in Monero, but maybe you should walk away from that. You're basically continuing to fund your own enslavement. This is what the apocalypse is all about. The apocalypse is not like chaos. It's not destruction, although that will happen in many ways. But apocalypse means the lifting of the veil. And as people start to wake up to all this, they'll start to realize that all this stuff is there to control them, enslave them. Even the word government comes from the Latin gubernare, which means, if you just look at the word, it's quite obvious, but most people can't see it because they've been under mind control their whole lives. And in the government indoctrination camps, and then they go home and they watch their giant scrying mirror, which we've been warned about for centuries about the scrying mirrors, and now we all have a black mirror in our house. They even have a show about the black mirror.
I had to stop watching that show. I had to stop watching that show because it frightened me. My husband, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy likes these dystopian kind of Black Mirror programs, and sometimes I'll watch them with them. But I think because my eyes are open to it a little bit more when I watch them, I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. I'm like, I'm not watching this anymore.
Watch that documentary Planet Mind Control at planetmindcontrol.com, and you'll see exactly how that's actually programming people. But the word government comes from the Latin gubernare, and it's just pretty obvious once you see it. Govern, what does that mean? Control, right? Mental, in Spanish, mente, mind control. It's actually mind control. So people need to start waking up to all those things. There's no actual answer in political stuff. Political stuff is super evil. For anyone out there who's quite religious and believes in Jesus and things like that, what did Jesus do? He was against the government and he was against the central banks. That's exactly what I believe. People just need to become a lot more like Jesus and stop giving them their money, stop listening to them, stop adhering to their things. And so when people are standing up against things like the data centers, that's good. It's not a bad thing, but the real answer is actually taking the power back into your own control and stepping away from all these systems and doing the work on yourself.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the process of, I'm a process over outcome kind of gal. And the process of organizing necessitates human interaction. It requires people to gather in rooms together. And when people gather in rooms together, even virtually, like what we're doing right now, right? This isn't algorithmic. It isn't social media. It's you're a human. I'm a human. We have a lot of humans engaging with us on all of the chats. And when you do that, I think that there's an energy. And I think that it facilitates the awakening. And so when people are like, oh, why are you running for lieutenant governor, Shannon? Why are you organizing this? Why? You're never going to win. I have all of those Debbie Downers and have no fundsers on my Twitter feed. Like anytime I post a tweet like that, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. They're just going to do this, 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 and this. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. The act of organization is more important than the outcome. People are all over me about, driving down to Kentucky to help Thomas Massey, who I think is a real human being. And I was able to meet him face to face and he's awesome, right? And all of his people. And I met a lot of people down there in the flesh in Kentucky, right? And they're like, oh, well, you lost, right? You got spanked in Kentucky. And I'm like, listen, it wasn't about winning. It was about the process. It was going down there, seeing things with my own eyes, exchanging that energy with other human beings and facilitating the awakening in that way. And it was one of the best things I've ever done. I've met people that I will be connected to now for many, many years. And, it was the same with the protests. That's why during COVID, I protested every weekend. You couldn't swing a dead cat without finding me on a street corner somewhere with an anti-lockdown sign. I was outside of nursing homes and school districts and hospitals. And it wasn't because we were going to win. It was because it was human. And, that's the answer from my perspective. And that's why we do this. And that's why we have to do it more and keep doing it. Regardless if we win or lose or they go around, like, we just keep doing it. Throw those wrenches in their plans, and eventually things are going to change. And I absolutely believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just look at the world today, and that's a big part of what is with these phones and stuff like that. People are
Yes.
becoming very, very disconnected, and that's what they want. They want
Yes.
you to be disconnected because that is a very human thing. This is a very anti-human thing that they are. These technocratic, tyranny, sort of dystopia sort of people.
Right.
They're very, very anti-human, and so the more human you are, the better. And a big part of humanity is the social aspect of it. And you just go around today and look at a restaurant. If there's a family in a restaurant, every kid's on his tablet. The parents are on their phones, and that's actually all mind control as well.
Yeah.
That's why I really recommend watching that documentary. So because most people aren't aware of it.
I will.
You're under mind control. You never know you're under mind control. That's what mind control is.
Right.
But if you can watch something that kind of shows you in the right way, there's another great movie that's great for it, by the way. I think I've mentioned it on your show before, The Jones Plantation. That will wake you up. I gotta
watch that. I've got to watch that. Yes.
Oh, you have to watch it.
Okay. Those are
two shows that, like, turn off your Netflix, turn off your Black Mirror. That's all mind control. Watch The Jones Plantation and Planet Mind Control, and you'll actually really. I'm not saying like you need to wake up in particular, but like anyone out there, everyone needs to wake up to certain things because this mind control is it's pervasive, it's everywhere, and it's taken me more than a decade to get even a lot of it out, and I'm sure I still have a bunch of it. But the more that we can watch some things like that, Planet Mind Control and The Jones Plantation, the faster that we can help people. And you mentioned adopting a boomer. That's one way to do it. Show them The Jones Plantation. Now they won't wake up necessarily the next day and understand everything that I'm talking about or you're talking about, but it will actually crack the door open. Because it actually shows you, because they need to see it in a way that isn't aggressive. It isn't like, oh, we need to change your minds. A lot of people have noticed this. I've noticed this over the years. I used to tell people all the facts. I'd be like, here's the facts of why all this system is bad, whether it's the COVIDs, whether it's central banking. And people just, because they're under the mind control, they can't actually hear that stuff. You actually have to, basically, we need to deprogram people from a cult. And that's why they also call it culture. We're all in a cult.
Well, let's stop you there. Yeah, because I want to talk about the cult. That was the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and the Adopt a Boomer program, which I'm spearheading. I should get a website. There is a fantastic. There are actually multiple social media sites out there. There's a big Facebook page that is Leaving MAGA, and it is helping people who have deprogrammed, who are leaving the cult, to emancipate and also protect them against like the bot and trolls that are very vicious when you leave the Trump cult. And there's an X page as well that is also called Leaving MAGA. They have like 65,000 followers on their Facebook page. And it's like growing exponentially as people are beginning to realize that what is surrounding Donald Trump and MAGA in and of itself is a cult. Full stop. And you just recently in one of your walk-in talks talked about that. And I want to ask you about that when we come back from our commercial break. So then we'll close out. We have about 10, 15 more minutes left in the show, if you're cool. And so we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, I want to talk about the cult, and I want to talk about my Adopt a Boomer program and my dear old dad, because it was my dad. Again, I have a soft spot for the Trumpists and the Trumpers, the Trump humpers and the cultists. Everyone else gets mad at them. Like the actual human ones, I have a soft spot for, because it's my sister, it's my dad, it's people who I love in my own family, and they're intelligent people, but they've been sucked in. They are isolated now within this ecosystem of information, and very truly cannot Like they don't see the same things that we see. They're not in the same algorithm. And it's really interesting to consider. And we're going to talk about that with Jeff Berwick. We can't have hostility with these people anymore. We have to try to break them out of it. And that's going to be my mission for 2026. So we're going to do that in a minute and close out the show. Keep it tuned here. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Shannon Joy Show. And today I want to talk to you guys about ivermectin. I'm using their ivermectin cream right now, and it has been a lifesaver for rosacea. I haven't been dealing with acne or anything like that recently, but as I've aged, my skin has gotten bumpy and red sometimes, itchy, and I've been dealing with rosacea. The ivermectin cream from TWC is absolutely knocking it out. In fact, it started working within a day or two of using it, and I have not had any problems since. You know, if you think you're dealing with bad skin as an adult and acne, you might be dealing with something else, an untreated root cause. And it starts small. If you're like me, it's a little redness, a few bumps, and then it expands, and then it becomes consistent and persistent. You go through the cycle of doctor appointments trying to figure out what's going on, one product after another, and you're not alone. So 25% of adults struggle with acne, and more than 14 million Americans battle rosacea. 1 in 10 people suffer from chronic dermatitis or eczema. So these are not just cosmetic issues. They itch, they burn, and they crush confidence. And I have been dealing with this for many years. I can't believe how well the ivermectin cream works. It's called Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company. It's a dermatologist-designed prescription formula that targets the root cause safely, gently, and under the skin. So it helps to clear your clogged pores and brighten the skin. It reduces inflammation, and it helps control bacterial overgrowth to calm in irritation. It's amazing. I love this product. You can have it too. Go to twc.health/joy. That's twc.health/joy. Use the promo code JOY. You'll save $20 off plus free shipping in your first for your first order. So that's twc.health/joy. twc.health/joy. And let me tell you, it doesn't help. It doesn't help to have to be on the video every single day. You know, I used to be a podcaster, and that was great. I could come in my pajamas with my hair everywhere, don't have to do hair and makeup. It was just audio, radio, and podcast. And ever since platforming out to all of these video platforms, it matters a little bit more, and you want to have that confidence. I want to have that confidence, so I'm super thankful to the folks over at TWC. The ivermectin cream is an absolute miracle worker. So thank you to the Wellness Company and all of our sponsors here in the Shannon Joy Show.
If the world's richest billionaires suddenly try...
When your identity is your ideology, congratulations, you've officially screwed yourself, because now it's not just an idea, now it's you. And when the idea gets challenged, you don't hear disagreement, you hear an attack. So what do? You build a bubble. A nice, soft, padded little bubble where everyone agrees with you, uses the same words, hates the same people, and claps at the exact right moments. And you will defend that bubble at all costs, even if it makes you sound incredibly stupid. Facts don't matter anymore. Logic's gone. Humor? Dead. Because admitting you're wrong would mean admitting you are wrong, and that's unacceptable. So you double down. Louder, angrier, dumber. And that's how you end up defending nonsense like it's sacred scripture, not because it's true, but because without it, you'd have to actually develop a personality.
All right, that is an AI generated. I just learned a moment ago, Jeff Berwick, that was it's James Carlin, and it stole from other talks that he had given, but it is AI generated. But I thought that was actually very good, though. It really explained how people get sucked into cults, how people get sucked into these political cults, and their ideology becomes their identity, and then blocks out all this good information. And I've experienced this in my own life, but I wanted to start this conversation with you about the cult, because I think it's about time that we just slap this right down on the kitchen table and acknowledge what this is, what we're dealing with. And that's not to say that there isn't cult worship on the left among Democrats, but the thing around Trump, Jeff, is one of the most extraordinary and sophisticated, cult formations I have ever seen in my life. I mean, it was even worse. Remember, mass formation psychosis involved with COVID, when everyone was like the fear-based trauma, then, mind numbed them, and then they walked like zombies into the COVID shots and into the masks. That was intense. And I thought I was astonished at how quickly people became zombies, right? Because of that fear. But the Trump thing is like next level stuff. What are your thoughts on the cult formation, and also getting people out of cult formation? Because that's something that I really want to focus on in 2026. It's going to be hard, but I think we can do it. Your thoughts?
Well, I can give you some advice. I've been doing it for about 15 years. And for anyone out there watching, one of the things that you often get when you say all this stuff about Trump is, you Democrat, you must support Biden. No, I don't support any of them. Government is mind control. And these are all actors, actually. Remember the 7 foot tall Joe Biden? Like there's new.
Oh my gosh, that was insane.
Yeah, there was a guy on Fox the other day with a total mask on. These are actors. All this stuff is a show. They even went on 60 Minutes, Mossad, which is the Israeli intelligence operation, and said, we're the producers, we're the directors, we're the main actors, the world is our stage. And for all the people out there, a lot of people still haven't woken up to a lot of stuff, and it's going to be hard to wake up to a lot of it. There's a lot more to come that people will be waking up out of, but it's actually a really good thing. But as you mentioned before, you can't force anyone to wake up. All you can do is give them the right sort of. Actually, the best thing is to actually live it yourself and to change yourself.
Right.
And as you do that, you change everything around you, and that's something that I recommend. But I should mention, again, when it comes to the politics stuff, I call myself an anarchist, and a lot of people have been programmed to think that's a dangerous word or it's violence and all this sort of thing. It's the exact opposite of that. The word anarchist is also a Greek word. It comes from the Greek, and it means an, without, archy, ruler. So I don't believe people to be slaves. And the fact that anyone doesn't understand that or think that's good, that's actually part of the programming. So you need to wake up to that. So again, I would suggest just watch the Jones Plantation, and you'll start to break out of that sort of mind control. And as far as like the boomers and stuff like that, I haven't had any luck. My mom was paralyzed with the swine flu vaccine back in 2000.
Oh, no.
A Dr. Frazzi thing. She didn't watch anything that I was talking about. Neither of my parents ever have. So I totally understand.
I can relate.
To change the people around you, right? But I actually have managed to do it now, not with my dad, but with my family, by doing the changes around me. That changes everyone around me. You actually have to just embody it and live it.
Right.
And actually, my dad's a great story. He was a arm wrestling champion in Canada, where we are from.
My God.
He had biceps like this, and his forearms were even bigger.
Really?
And, he was also a tug of war champ. Anything to do with his arms, he was actually being studied by a university at one point because all he ate was apple pie and ice cream. But back then, apple pie was large. It was actually healthy. It wasn't sugar and all this sort of stuff. But then I was living in Mexico, and he retired, and he started watching the news all day. And all of a sudden, so that's the mind control, right? So I said to him, "Hey, Dad, I'm down in Acapulco. You should come down." And he was like, "I hear it's dangerous." And I'm like, "Where'd you hear that?" And he's like, "On the news." I'm like, "Have you been watching the Scry Mirror all day?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he was scared. He never came to Mexico again after that. He was too scared. This massive giant guy who people feared his whole life because he was all veiny and like red eyes. They actually studied him because he had a testosterone level they'd never seen before.
So interesting.
And then he watched the news, and all of a sudden he became vegan. All of a sudden he became very fearful. And now it's come to the point where I went to visit him last year, and he said, "Has everyone in your family got the COVID's boosters?" And now the old me would have gone into a long rant about how
Right.
that's a bioweapon, all that kind of stuff. And all I
Right.
said was, no, but I think you'll be okay. And you can't, like, I don't try to wake him up at this point. I actually started with 9/11. I remember that about 15
Yeah.
years ago. I said, Dad, do you know 9/11 was an inside job? And you know what he said to me? He said, stop. And I went, what?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want to know. And I said, you don't want to know? And for a second, I was like, are you my dad? Because I want to know everything. I'm like you, Shannon. I'm like,
Right.
I just want to know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And he told me, listen, I'm retired. This is your thing to fight now. I just want to live in peace and not think about these things. And now he's on his third booster. He's still alive because he's a freak of nature. He really shouldn't be alive at this point.
Well, he might have gotten a placebo, because we know that they sent out, like, I mean,
yeah, there was a lot of saline
placebos.
solution, and maybe he got really lucky, but I also think he is just a freak of nature too. So one or the other, that's how he survived so far, but it is tough. If you're going to adopt a boomer, get ready for a tough sled. What I would suggest again is make sure they watch the Jones Plantation. I would start with that, and then you might have a chance.
Right. Well, I know. I think with my dad, like, so here's the thing. Well, it's funny that you mentioned the word demon rats, because that's one that he uses. That's one of the programmed words. And so when he engages, now I don't engage with him, but he's very, very interested in engaging with me. So he sends me stuff all the time, and I just always have to bite my tongue. And because he's not of the mindset that I'm going, like, I don't want to know. He is full into the, like, MAGA, Fox News, Con Inc., Donald Trump, psyop. And so he's like, and it's just so crazy. I can hear all the talking points, right? I was just in Kentucky and I'm battling. I was reporting on the ground there for 5 days. And so I knew all of the talking points, anti-Massey, pro Galrain. And, so I got back, he didn't say anything. He calls me up. He's like, well, I'm glad you got spanked in Kentucky. That Ed Galrain he's a farmer. He's a war hero, or and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it was just crazy for me to hear those repeated back. But what the most interesting thing about, and again, he's a very intelligent guy. He is a very successful guy. And, it's just in this one area. And we have a great relationship, by the way. So I love him. He loves me. We hardly talk about politics. And he's a great dad. But at one point I finally engaged with him via text on Kentucky. And then I called him, and he said to me, he's like, what are you watching? He's like, who are your experts? Like, who is it that you are reading and watching? Because, like, you're on another planet. And that's when it really, really sunk into me that these screens and these phones, the laptop, the television, the news programs, we are really in our own individual reality. He is in a reality that is completely opposite of the reality that I'm in. The only difference is, though, that he doesn't know it and doesn't acknowledge it. I'm in a reality, but I'm constantly, like you, going outside of my reality purposefully. Like, I know there's an algorithm. I know that I wake up every day and Facebook wants to tell me something. Twitter wants to tell me something. They want to make me feel something, namely fear and anger and hate, right? So I know that. I know that these algorithms are feeding back to me. They're reinforcing to me what my predispositions are. But I go outside of my algorithm. I want to know what the left is thinking. I want to know what the Biden people are thinking. I want to know what the MAGA cultists are thinking. I want to know what the Republicans are thinking, the Q people, all of these different groups I want to be exposed to, and I force myself to be exposed to them so that I can take them all together. We can look at an event. I can see all of the different perspectives, all of the different agendas and operations and psyops, and then use discernment to try to figure out what the actual truth is. Like, you have to go out and actively try to seek the truth if you're going to find it. You can't sit back and be passive, because then you're just going to be reinforced over and over and over. And so that's why I decided to adopt my boomer dad, because I thought, you know what, maybe I can send, he wants to know who my sources are. So I'm going to send him Catherine Austin Fitts. I'm going to send him Ed Dowd, people he already respects. I'm going to send him people like you and Peter Schiff and Tom Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, people that he used to support, that he knows he has respect for. You know, I'm going to see if that works and see what he thinks. He's been very quiet. I've been sending him all of these clips and he hasn't said anything yet, but it's my little mission. And, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't care. I love him anyway. But that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, well, just look at why it's called television programming, right? So he's under massive mind control.
Right.
It's really just sad, right? It's
Yeah.
too bad. But there's a hope. But it's called programming for a reason. And what else do they call it? They call it broadcasting, spellcasting. It's actually a form of black magic. And what are you watching it on? A scrying mirror, a black mirror.
Wait, what kind of mirror is
These
it?
are all
Wait. Say that word
scrying
again.
mirror.
Say
Scrying
that.
mirror.
Okay.
It's associated with basically witchcraft. If you look back, if you just look it up, you'll see that people have been warned about it for centuries or millennia. That the scrying mirror will, entrap you and stuff like that. And that's exactly what it is. I actually came up with an idea as you were talking. You know what you should do? Go over to his house and take the remote and put it on like HDMI 2, which isn't the cable stuff. It's just like, nothing.
Okay.
And he won't know how to change it back, right? Because he's a boomer, right? So, so just leave it like that. Now he'll go through like his whole world might collapse after a couple of days because he's addicted to it at this point, right? But if you can kind of get through that, like try to take him out to like a ball game or something. But even the ball game, that's also bread and circuses. Is also because you got to stand for your national sing along and all the.
At least they're outdoors. They're actually really hitting a little ball around. Like there's real community there. It's a little better. You're right. It's a black mirror, like black screens. Yeah. And like, you're right. I've never, a scrying mirror. Thank you, LT Oracle of Truth. SCRYING. And it's witchy. Okay. So guys, let's limit the screens. Listen, I'm with you. I'm trying to limit the screens as much as I possibly can. Wow. You're just really blowing my mind today with all of this. So that's a good idea. Now, the unfortunate part is that I have no idea how to set something to HDMI 2, and I'm a Gen Xer. I'm like technologically illiterate. I don't even know how I
source on the remote, and it'll go like to HDMI 2, and then he won't know how to change it back. And then you're gonna have to it's like someone coming off heroin or something. You're gonna have to be really careful with him. He's going to be sad. He's going to be crying. He's going to be angry. Take him out to a ball game. Try to keep him off of drinking the beer. That's also to basically dumb you down and lower your.
Oh, come on. You can't take away my margarita. You can't. Come on now.
Mind control.
Yeah. You're just like Michael Yon. Michael Yon hates the substances. No drugs. I like no drugs whatsoever.
I don't hate anything.
Yeah. God bless you.
I've drank more than anyone, probably, not to talk like Donald Trump, but there's very few people who've drank more alcohol than me in their life. But I realized it about 5 years ago that I was under massive mind control with it. And it's been the best thing ever since I've...
Really?
Yeah, it actually, it's called spirits for a reason. It actually destroys your soul. It cuts you off from your connection to source.
Yeah.
And now, you could have one margarita once or twice a month, and it's probably not the worst thing, right?
But ruining all my fun.
You'll notice with the alcohol, because it's there for a reason. Why is it on every corner? Why is it on every ad? Why is it on every movie? Why is it on every show? It's there because it keeps people on a lower vibrational level and destroys their soul.
Wow.
And you'll notice too, I'll just have 1 or 2 margaritas a month, maybe, but with that mind control and the way the alcohol works, next month it might be 3. Next month it might be 4, and that's just how it goes. All those things, all of it is there to control you and to destroy you. All those sort of things.
Okay, so bottom line, what I'm hearing here is basically the Amish got it right.
Totally,
they totally figured it out.
The best.
The Amish got it right.
Go live with the Amish for a while, and see what we're supposed to actually be like. And they're so incredible. When I look at what they do, I'm like, those people have totally got it. Like they don't watch the television programming. They don't drink the substances that destroy them. They don't. They spend all their time with their family. They're very productive. They can build a barn in 3 days, and they have skills that. Basically look at the Amish and try to become more Amish. That would be the best advice I can give to most people. And I don't know what their actual religious beliefs are. Like, I don't actually know. I've never looked into it that much, but whatever those are, that's okay. But just try to be like them, and you'd probably improve your life dramatically.
I think that's some great advice. And let's end there as we head into like an absolutely beautiful weekend. I mentioned that it's just gorgeous up here in the Finger Lakes region of New York State. The sun is shining. My hydrangeas are about to bloom. They bloom every summer on right around my birthday, so right around mid-June. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, get out there, get your feet in the grass, breathe in the fresh air, hang out with humans, be a little bit more like the Amish. I think that's a really great way to end this. And I want to have you back on again, maybe next month or the month after, Jeff, to continue these conversations. Because, I think like a lot of your ideas are, they push the boundaries for me and I think a lot of my viewers. But at the bottom line, like I think you are spot on, especially with your solutions, and you walk the walk. You don't just talk the talk. I think that is really, really cool. So please tell everyone how they can find you and support you when you broadcast. If you guys aren't watching Jeff Berwick's walk-in talks, they're great, totally unscripted. So it is literally just a man on the street, only it's not a street. You're in the country somewhere doing all sorts of country things off of your screens, which is great. But how can people support you, find you, and then we'll close it down for the day.
Yeah, thanks. I'm banned almost everywhere. I'm banned on Facebook. I'm banned on LinkedIn. I'm banned on most places. I'm super shadow banned on YouTube. I'm shadow banned on X for all these crazy things I just said. Right? I guess they must not want people to know these sort of things. But I am out there. I am on X at Berwick Jeff. Also, there's a Dollar Vigilante channel on X. It's just Dollar Vigilante. That's where we put out our videos, which are my walk and talk videos.
Nice.
We also have our own website, which is kind of important because that gets away from all their control, which is vigilante.tv. If you're interested in our financial newsletter, dollarvigilante.com. We have a few events every year that with all kinds of incredible speakers about truth and freedom and stuff like that. It's called Anarchapulco, Anarchapulco.com, and we have one coming up in Serbia in August called Librapulco.
Cool.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
I love it.
Thank you, Shannon. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And thank you for being with us today. And so I'm going to let you go. We're going to close out this show, and we'll see you again, hopefully in a month or two. All right. Thank you, Jeff Berwick. All right, guys, that's it for the week. Yet another absolutely fascinating guest, man. Like really, this interview blew my mind a little bit. And, there's a lot to think about, but I think that more and more Americans are beginning to realize that something is very wrong. Something is very off. And I think that this is accelerating as the bad guys take their mask off. They feel brazen. They feel confident. They think that they are just months, maybe years away from seizing everything, seizing us, and having complete and total control. And as they gain that confidence, they begin to let the mask slip off. And as the mask slips off, that's our opportunity to wake as many people up as humanly possible. And so let's not, and this is why I want to really reach out to people who are still Trump supporters and be there with them, hopefully, when they wake up. And so that's the mission. You guys are great. Ohio Po' Boy, great to see you. Thank you so much. Yes. Shannon, your complexion looks great. My daughter has skin problems. I think I will get on over to the wellness company and get her some of the ivermectin cream. Thank you for your hot tip. My son is on it now. So I have a tube. My son has a tube. He's the only one of my kids that struggles for its, adult onset. He's almost 20. But it is a miracle worker. I cannot recommend a cream. And again, it literally worked for me, at least for the rosacea overnight. So highly, highly recommend the ivermectin cream. Thank you so much. Buskman, thank you for being with us today. CJP Rumble, thank you for being with us. Be My Valentine, thank you, Jeff. She really enjoyed the conversation with Jeff. That's awesome. And LT Oracle of Truth. Yes, Shannon, next movie day, The Jones Plantation. we're going to do it. We'll do a movie marathon with the Jones Plantation for one of my Shannon Joy Rumble premieres. So we will definitely do that. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. It was a great week with all of you. Super busy week. I'm reacclimated back to being here in New York. So next week, we're working on Daniel Horowitz. We booked Sasha Latapova. She has some big, big news about the PrEP Act. Evidence now that is indicting the U.S. government for all kinds of fraud regarding the PrEP Act. So we're going to have her in next week. And then I'm also working, as you guys know, on Daniel Horowitz as well. So have a wonderful weekend. We will be back next week to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.